Hi, I'm Helen and welcome to my channel Blue Light Balance. Welcome to day 9 of my 10 by 10 by 10 yoga challenge. 10 classes in 10 days at just 10 minutes long each. Today's class is a class about courage. So we will build up to an arm balance, Bakasana, crow pose. And this is a posture that often symbolizes courage. You may need a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, then a thick hardback book will work. Also, you might need a cushion, and this can help you gain a little courage, and you'll see what I mean when we get there. We'll start in tabletop, hands and knees. So bring the hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. And we'll start with some shoulder flossing. So keeping the spine straight, all the movement is coming from the shoulder area. As you exhale, dip the chest down between the shoulders. As you inhale, raise the back up. So you're retracting the shoulders here as you dip the chest, and you're protracting as the back comes up to the ceiling. So just work through this a few times. This is sometimes known as shoulder flossing. So just bringing awareness to the shoulder region, waking it up, bringing mobility and strength. A couple more of these. Just do it in time with your breath. And then return to neutral. Move the hands about one handprint in front. Tuck the toes and lift the sit bones to the sky for downward facing dog. So hands are shoulder width apart, triceps are rotated under and the upper back is wide. You're pressing into the base of the knuckles, the finger pads are gripping the floor. Knees can be bent or straight. Sit bones to the sky, feet hip distance apart. Lengthen in the spine, bring in the ears between the triceps. Widen in the collarbones and the upper back. Breathe here. Core is engaged. We'll move through a couple of plank waves. You might want to bring the feet back just slightly. And on an inhale, movement coming from the core. Wave forward to plank pose. Back to downward facing dog. We'll move through a couple of these. So we're just waking up the core here and really bring your awareness to the upper back and the belly. Rounding through, protracting the shoulders, engaging the whole of the front body, including the legs, as you come into plank and then back to downward facing dog. So just bringing awareness to the front of the body, strengthening the core, protracting the shoulder blades. Really notice this sort of hollowing out of the spine here as you come forward, because we'll need this when we try crow pose. One more of these. Downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg to the sky. Exhale, bring the right knee into the chest. Protract the shoulder blades. And then dip the knee down to the mat. Just touch it lightly and suck it back into the chest. So 5 of these. Really puffing up the space between the shoulder blades. Rounding that back and sucking the belly in and the knee. One more. And then back to 3-legged dog, downward facing dog. Second side, left leg lifts to the sky. Engage the core, bring the knee in, and a few of these dips. One more. Three-legged dog. Bring the foot down, knees come to the mat, child's pose, and just roll out the wrists here. Reconnect with the breath. And then we'll sit up. We'll come into yogi squat, malasana. So heels are turning in and toes turning out. It's important to get the knees tracking over the toes in this pose. It all depends on the openness of your hips. Seat comes down. So you might be up here, or you might be down here. Your heels may be lifted. You can always, as well, sit on a block. This is a pose that is going to open the hips. It's very good for the health of the lower back. And start to look at the shape that you're in. And when I say shape, I mean not your physical body shape, but the shape of the pose. So this is starting to look a bit like crow pose. The knees are coming up on the back of the arms. You can stretch the arms out in front. Visualize what it would be like to actually be doing this pose, but instead of your feet supporting your weight, your hands. So that's the direction we're moving in. Stay here for a few more breaths. And then bring the hands down, straighten the legs for some relief. Just maybe sway the hips from side to side. And then this is where your block and your pillow might come in handy. So I haven't got a pillow, but you can place it at the top of the mat here if you've got a fear of falling forward. So sometimes having a mental crutch can help us as we progress through our yoga poses. So bring the feet up onto the block and sit like you're in a little perch. So imagine you're a little birdie on your perch. So using the block just brings the hips a little bit higher and a bit closer to the posture. Hands are planted, shoulder width apart. Really think about your base here. You're spreading the fingers, grounding into the base of the knuckles, gripping the floor with the fingertips. Think about the elbows coming in. So imagine these arms are like chicken wings. You want to bring your chicken wings in and really activate the muscles here. So in crow pose, if the elbows start going out, we lose a lot of stability. We want to keep them going backwards. Bring the hips up and then bring the knees onto the backs of the arms. So this might be your position. Stack the elbows over the wrists. Activate your chicken wings. Maybe you can lift one foot up. Bring it down. Maybe bring another up. You want to be looking forward. This pose is also a counterbalance. You're balancing the back body with the front body. And sit back down. Maybe roll out the wrists. So you can do that again, or you can try and lift both feet off the floor. And I'll just move my block here. So as with any posture, be happy and content with the journey and the place that you're at. It's not a competition. Sometimes with these arm balances and more advanced poses, it can become a bit of a circus act or a gymnastics competition. That's not what yoga's about at all. So get your stable base, elbows are coming in, lift the knees up, engage the core, come forward, and then maybe you can lift one foot up or the other. This is a counterbalance. Breathe here for 5 breaths. And then come back down. Roll out the wrists. Stretch the legs. Sway the hips from side to side. Release the neck. Then bring the seat down. Make your way onto the back. And we'll just do a little counter pose. So it was all forward, like crunching. I want to stretch out this front body. So we'll come into bridge pose. Feet are placed directly underneath the knees. Just reach down and touch the back of the heels. That gives you an idea that your feet are in the right place. And on an inhale, the pelvis lifts. If you like, you can interlace the fingers behind the back, pressing into the backs of the arms. Breathe here. Just stretching out the whole front body. Then exhale, release. Bring the knees in one at a time. And then roll up to seated. So that was a little class about courage. Even though we're only a few inches off the floor, it can be quite daunting, that pose, and it's quite common to have a real fear of falling forward, which is sometimes good when you have a cushion there, because you know you've got a soft landing. This is one of those poses that just keep working at and building strength in the shoulders and the arms, strength in the mind, developing your courage, and one day you may get there, you may never get there, it doesn't matter. All that matters is the journey along the way. Thank you for joining me today. Tomorrow is day 10, it's the last class, and it will be a class to reflect and renew. Have a good day, take care, thank you.